everyone. Welcome back to the Yoga Love podcast. My name is Noelle Whittington. This is episode 9 about compassion, energy, and boundaries. This episode was inspired by a question that my friend and fellow teacher Samatha Simons posed about how to have as much compassion in the world as you can, being a clear channel, but not taking on too much energy from anyone or giving too much of your own. This topic is really something that I'm always constantly learning and trying to implement and tweaking and just growing into. So I think it's a life practice for sure. So I guess the first thing to do is talk about what the word compassion means. Compassion, I think, is a mentality of inclusion and union. I've been really met with some lessons lately that are challenging how much do I actually practice inclusion. And what I mean by that is, we say, peace and love and blessings for all, but do we really truly mean it? As Sean Corn says, if one of us is bound, then none of us will be free. So compassion requires us to think on a global scale, on a universal scale. We really say compassion for all beings, then we have to truly mean it. And I think some of our fellow humans can be the most challenging teachers for that. But compassion is our ability to be passionate about the needs of the collective and raising collective consciousness. And so that requires us to do a heck of a lot of work on ourselves and to be really honest and clear about what our values are, and then also, even more specific than that, about what our core desired feelings are. I just learned about that from Danielle Laporte. So our core desired feelings are how we wish to feel. So they're direct messages, I think, from our soul. It's our intuition and the way that our body processes messages from our intuition. I think that feelings and emotions are divine messages, and the more sensitive that we can get about those, the more clear we'll be about being guided. So our ability to trust in our own inner guidance and also then put that into action, those messages. Being compassionate means being honest in every situation about what we believe the truth to be, and also how we will put that truth into action and how we can try and consider the needs of the collective in that truth as well. So we might feel something and we have our own experience, but what do we think other people are experiencing, and how can we put ourselves in the shoes and the mindset of other beings? So union and compassion for all and wishing for true liberation for everyone. I think that's compassion. And compassion is not necessarily always being nice or even being peaceful, right? Some of us have stronger voices. We need to get our point across in a way that we feel is valuing our own experience. And, some of us have a lot more to say on trauma than others. We've all been through trauma, but to what degree? Some of our lives are relatively, seemingly easy, but even if they are, we have no idea, no way of knowing what's going on under the surface. So we never know what other people are going through, even if they put on a brave face for us. So I think compassion is being honest while considering the needs of everyone and being willing to stand up for what you believe in and to stand up for what we believe will be good for all. Not just good for the one, but good for all. Some tools to create compassion are to practice from the Nonviolent Communication website, cnbc.org. You can go on and find out what your top needs and values are. You can try to choose your top 10. And then, even deeper and more specific than that, recognize what your top 10 core desired feelings are. Just learned this recently from Danielle Laporte, and it felt really good because I have been practicing figuring out what my top values are for, the last 10 years or so, but something felt like not specific enough, right? Because if you look at the needs and the values from nonviolent communication, I value all of those, so how are you even supposed to choose? So then how we wish to feel in our life is something that can inform those values even more. And those core desired feelings can be really specific to us and the way that we wish to be loved and how we wish to communicate with others, and even the way that we show up in the world and what we offer and the way that we offer it. So I think that these feelings, these core desired feelings, can help us to take action in the way that makes the most sense for us and that will make the biggest impact in our lives. And then that way, if we just think about the way that we wish to feel rather than trying to visualize a very, very specific expectation when we're putting out our mantras as manifestation, rather than wanting the greenhouse on the corner with 7 rooms and all of the shutters, we could say that we will have a home in which we feel comfortable, where there's room enough for everyone, where it feels spacious, where we feel comforted, where we feel nurtured. So that way it leaves a lot to the universe, to the divine, which has the reins anyway. I mean, if we've done any work on ourselves and learned anything about yoga, I think that the top most important thing to remember is surrender. Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender to the divine. Because we can have our own free will and we can recognize what our needs and values and core feelings are. But until we realize that we're brought here for a reason and that we are guided and we're held and we are supported, and there is such a gift in recognizing our own divinity, then it's going to be kind of a struggle, I think. And that just comes from my own experience and my own opinion. So please think what you will about that. In terms of our energy, I believe that we can tap into our energy at any time, and it's just a practice of awareness. So maybe one of the first things that we do every single morning, the first moment that we recognize that we're conscious again, is to pull our mind back and to just say thank you, to offer gratitude for simply being alive on that day. And then when we ever do an awareness practice, we could just notice how our energy is feeling. If we're feeling very energetic, or maybe we're feeling overly energetic and scattered and a little frazzled, or maybe we're feeling sick and slow and uninspired, then we implement this pranayama practice that will help our physical body create the breath that we need in order to cultivate the type of energy that we need to balance ourselves. So pranayama is so important because it's not just the breath. The breath is the physical practice that will help us to tap into our ability to be an energy channel. So I think that's the most important and also the most accessible tool that we have to be a clear channel of energy. So, it only takes like 6 to 8 breaths to lower our blood pressure. But then beyond that, if we took 10 slow, deep breaths with our eyes closed or focusing on one point, it would change everything. It would change everything about how we're feeling and our perception of ourselves and our experience at the moment. So having a pranayama practice and being dedicated to looking within, that self-inquiry practice throughout the day will help us. Because if we can just take a moment to check in, and it doesn't even have to be 10 breaths. I mean, just even one deep, slow breath can tell us, oh, you have to pee, or you're really hungry, or you can't stop thinking about the argument that you had with your boyfriend, or whatever it is. We can become observers and witness to that which is occupying our field, and then we can choose to soften into it and just breathe until we find a little bit more spaciousness where we can get messages of how to then proceed. So in order to be a clear channel, we've got to practice self-awareness and to have a daily check-in practice and a daily meditation practice, and sometimes multiple times throughout the day. And that way, we won't be seeking so much from others whenever we go out into the world. We're not looking for attention. We're not looking for validation, because we're able to find that within ourselves. Everything that we need is within. I woke up the other morning with Trevor Hall's song in my head. I have everything I need. I have everything I need. I have everything I need. And it's true. We have everything that we need either within us or to give us the clarity needed to take the action steps that will meet our needs. And as we know from the NDC practice, suffering is created when we're attached to one strategy. So how can we create different strategies to get those needs met so that we won't go out into the world, as a yoga teacher, seeking emotional support from our students, or wanting to find ways to shift energy and put the responsibility on others by going into a complaining or a blame practice, like we're some sort of victims to our lives, which we're creating. Lately I was telling people that I was having the experience that I was trapped, but it's silly because it's like being trapped in a room with 3 walls. It's like totally open on one side, and we're like, how did I get here? Woe is me. I'm not actually putting into action the things that I need to do to create that spaciousness and that clarity of intention and clarity of energy. So it's just a learning practice and moment-to-moment self-awareness. And then we won't feel so much obligation to help others fix it or fix themselves, because we'll know that everybody has those tools to recognize their own divinity and their own fullness. And we won't get attached to the story. We can just allow the energy to flow without internalizing it or putting our own experience on it too much, which will be limiting to ourselves and to the other party. So some tools that I like to practice before I go into any situation. One of the first things that I do in the morning when I'm conscious of being awake is to just, even if it's just the quickest thing, is just saying thank you, to find gratitude for being awake. And then if I know that I'm about to go into a long work day, I am very specific on what I say to myself. I say, going to have the best day. I'm feeling great. I am going to be the most effective and clear instructor and facilitator that I can be on whatever topic it is. So I basically just tell myself in present tense that I'm having the experience that I want to feel, and then I go on about my day. And one thing I've been doing lately to balance all of my kapha and feeling so tired all the time is to exercise. So I found this cool free workout app, and the company I think is called Daily Workout Apps, but when you search it on the App Store, I think it's like Daily Workout Fitness Trainer or something. And it's so easy because you can do like a 10-minute workout, or maybe 20 or 30, and you can choose a full body, or you can do cardio, or like arms or legs or whatever, and you only need little free weights. I don't even have free weights. Sometimes I use my friends, or I'll just do it without weights. And it seems so easy to me because I don't enjoy working out. I like to dance, or I like to play, or I like to swim. I enjoy activities, and so I feel like fitness should be functional. So I've got this story in my head that I don't like working out. However, this is so easy and so quick that when I'm done, I feel energized again. You know, I've created the balance of stoking my internal fire, and I feel much more mentally fresh. And then I'll take a shower and go on about my day, and I feel like everything is so much better. So just a little bit of body movement. One of my students, Callie, said this weekend, one of her teachers said that every day we should move our breath, our body, and our bowels. And that's so true. So, just be gentle with yourself when you're thinking about these things, and know that above and beyond everything else, you are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of living the quality of life that you want to live. You are divine love all the time, always, and every single lesson is just bringing us a little bit closer to that realization. When we recognize that our unworthiness comes from things that we've been brought into the world with, and also things that we've learned from our family and our friends, then it's really easy to stay in a poverty mentality or to shift the blame onto someone else. But I think it's also really liberating when we can recognize that all of these limiting beliefs are just the mind creating fear. And that is a little bit of a dangling carrot. Now, you can look at that fear and say, hey, what's on the other side of that? I bet something really great is hiding behind that fear. Because I know, not in my mind, but in my heart and in my gut, that that's not true. I know myself to be strong and healthy and fearless, and smart and capable and beautiful and incredible. And maybe if you just wrote those things down, eventually you start to believe it in your mind. Like my teacher Douglas Brooks says, belief can get in the way of faith sometimes, because the mind is sometimes the hardest to convince. The mind is meant to categorize and to compartmentalize and judge because it needs to keep us safe. It needs to remember that when I do this thing, it hurts me so that I won't do it again. So let the mind do its thing. Enjoy the messages from the mind. It's like your extremely overbearing, worried mama. And then listen to the messages from your heart and notice the sensations that come up in your body. And try to be brave. Try to sit with it. And if you're lucky enough to have people in your life that will listen, ask for support perhaps, but please take responsibility for yourself while you're experiencing that, and go and do a movement practice before you subject your loved ones to your process, because we're all going through stuff, right? So let's all help each other take responsibility for our own needs and recognize that we are just a channel of divine love at all times, and that we're all learning and growing together. Thank you for listening. Namaste.